vlogs, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the books that I read this year, the recent ones, and what I'm going to be reading starting for next year, my TBR. So the disclaimer is that I was truly in my flop era this year. I did not read very many books, period. And I also did not read, of those books, I did not read very many books that I enjoyed. So it was a little bit of a rough year for me with books. Goodreads year in review fucking sucks. Like, I don't know. I think they kind of back themselves into a corner because the website is so poorly designed that they really can't do much with like a Goodreads Wrapped. They don't have that much data, but like, wow, it is barren. It's just very lazy. It just tells you how many pages. It's like, how many pages did you read? What was the shortest book you read? What was the longest book you read? And then like that's basically it. Like that's all the information you get for the entire year. So thank you, Goodreads, for that. That's really exciting. So my goal this year was 60 books, and I did not reach that number. And I was in a state of delusion for a while, being like, oh, okay, I have a month left. I can read 25 books. Yeah. And that didn't happen. Shockingly, that didn't happen. I told myself that I would read a lot during winter break, and then I did not do that. I don't feel super bad about it because I was booked and busy this year, so it's not like I wasn't doing anything. But it is a little disappointing just because I didn't read very much that I actually liked. 13 of the 48 books that I read this year were all from the Demon Slayer manga, and I was so excited when I realized that I could add them into Goodreads, when I realized that manga was on Goodreads, because I was like, oh shit, like, I'm gonna hit my goal because I just read fucking like so many volumes of pirated manga. And then I did not meet my goal anyway, despite having significant help from that. Yeah, so I was like 25 books behind. I put this in and I was 12 books behind. I was like, wow, we got it. We're in it to win it. Did not win it, but it was a nice thought. It was nice. You know, we tried. We didn't try that hard, but we tried. So I read the Atlas 6, and I think I got all my thoughts out. But if the video that I made on the Atlas 6 is too long and you just want a rundown of why I didn't like it, this book was super popular on TikTok. I should tell you what it's about. This book was super popular on TikTok. It's a dark academia book in a secret society, a secret magic society, that's important, and there are 6 main characters, all from different parts of the world, who all have different magic powers. They come together and they do fucking nothing. I wasn't particularly attached to any of the characters, didn't like the plot or the world building. The writing was pretty good though. Like, Olivia Blake is the writer, and I think she is good. I think that her next book in the series might actually like be pretty good. I don't think I said this in my long video, but I'm definitely willing to read another book of hers. I think she's pretty young, so like she can only go up. It's only gonna be up from here. She just now she self-published this book, and now it's getting republished with a traditional publisher, and she got a deal for the next book. So truly her work is only going to improve, and I'm sure there's going to be an exponential improvement between this book and her next book. So it's like nothing against her. I really think she's a good writer. This just didn't do it for me. It just I just didn't like it. I just didn't have a good time. And that was very disappointing because I was so excited about this book. I heard exclusively good things about it. I continue to hear exclusively good things about it, and I just didn't like it. So that sucks. Then I read Ruin and Rising. This was like, I was just striking out, you know, in the summer. Flop era. I did like, this is a spoiler, I really liked the plot twist where Mal ends up being the third amplifier. Super fun. Didn't see that coming at all. So that was great. I really like that part. I always like the last like 15% of the books where things start to really happen. It's always like the beginning of the book and the end of the book, there's a lot going on. And then in the middle, they just like chat. They just sit around, they have a little laugh, and I'm just not vibing with it. But I really do like the endings. I know that Lee Bardugo is a good writer. It's just like, girl, this is not your best work. But I overall, not a bad series. I like a lot of the characters. I really started liking Alina about like in the second book. What is it called? Siege and Storm. I really started liking Alina. In the first book, I wasn't super into her, but at some point, I just told myself, you know what? I like her. And there was really no like deliberation. There was no reason really that I gave for liking her. I just decided to like her. I'm crazy about the ending, I'll be quite honest. I feel like Elena just kind of ends up in the same place that she started. And that's not a bad thing necessarily because, a circular ending, there's a certain value to that, and to, you know, having the characters end up in the same place they started but with significant changes to them personally. But I just didn't really feel like there was enough change in Elena. There was enough different for that to justify a circular ending. Like, I wanted her to end up somewhere different. I wanted her to go somewhere with it. I was really disappointed that she never got her powers back. I don't really like that trope in general, though. Just the trope of character loses their magic and has to re-earn it or never gets it back. It's just not my favorite trope. I didn't like how they justified it by saying that she got too power hungry, like she was too greedy with her power. It's like, if that's the way that it works, why didn't the Darkling lose his power earlier? It just it like, I understand it from a thematic point of view. I get it, but I just like don't understand it in a literal sense. Like, how does it happen? This has not happened to anybody else. Why did it just happen to her? I don't know if they like say that the gods did it. I didn't think the gods were involved like that. Um, it just didn't really make sense to me. The explanation that they gave, it just didn't really make sense to me. But whatever. I also felt like her ending kind of took away her agency, her ability to do what she wants in the plot. Because throughout the series, she doesn't get a whole lot of agency. There is Darkling who tries to take her agency from her, literally, and then she goes to Nikolai, who is also kind of trying to. I like Nikolai. This is not a drag. He is also kind of trying to take her agency because he's got his own plans. Like, he's got his own thing going on. He doesn't want to listen to what she's saying. Obviously, he's like the military political leader. Of course, he's gonna want people to do what he says. So, and then Mal also tries to take her agency because he sucks in the books. I do not like books Mal. TV show Mal, I like him a lot. I like that boy a lot. I think he's very cute and very handsome and very nice. I like him a lot. Books Mal is... I just looked at my notes and I remembered that Mal said, I have to do a voice for it. I am become a blade. What are you talking about? Also, I just don't get what was going on with that. I know that people talk about that all the time. This "I am become a blade" line. What does that mean? Look at me and tell me what that means. What does that mean? Because when I read it, what I think about is "I am become death," which is a famous line from that fucking guy. I actually have to look it up. I can't just say that. Oppenheimer. Okay, I thought it was him. I wasn't sure. So when the atom bomb dropped, Oppenheimer said, "I am become death, destroyer of worlds." And this is also originally from a Hindu text, but the context that it's associated with now, I feel like, is usually around the atom bomb. So I figured this was probably the inspiration behind the "I am become a blade" line, but I'm just not seeing the correlation, if I'm being quite honest. Because I guess I understand it in the sense of it's about the end of the world, it's about mass destruction and mass amounts of death, but am I misremembering? Like, Mal didn't kill hundreds of thousands of people. Mal didn't kill an entire city worth of people, right? Like, you know, like, I feel like Mr. Oppenheimer has a little bit more baggage after having designed the atom bomb than Mal does for just being some fucking guy. That's all he is. This whole series is just some guy. He's not Gale War Criminal Hawthorne. He didn't do anything personally. That's terrible. Why did he say this? Why did he get it tattooed? It was very out of the blue. I felt like, where did this come from? It was given no context whenever, or maybe it was, but as I remember it, like, there was no context surrounding this. He was just like, I got this tattoo. It says "I am become a blade." I would. I think it was actually on his back. I got this. What do you mean? What do you mean? And maybe they tried to give us context around it, but I feel like they should have introduced that line as an ancient text from one of the saints in, like, book 1 or even book 2 or even earlier in book 3. At any point in the series, really, they could have just introduced that line as something that one of the saints said, or one of somebody important said, and it would have made a lot more sense that Mal got it tattooed. But as it stands, my guy, are you okay? That doesn't seem like something an okay person would get tattooed on their body. Like, that does not seem like you're in a great headspace. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about "I Am Become a Blade" for a minute. Because that was my favorite part of the book, actually. Unironically, I really enjoyed that part. It was very funny. I also read Honey and Ishu's Guide to Fake Dating. Very cute, very fun, very sweet. I love that. This book is so wholesome. I really like it. But it does deal with heavier themes. Like, it deals with themes of racism and Islamophobia, but it is in a context that is very easily digestible, and I feel like that's great, especially for what I feel like this is geared towards a young audience. I feel like I was maybe a little old for it, but the fact that this is put into such a sweet story, I really did think that it was very well done, very tasteful. I've read another book by this author, and she's great. If you're looking for a sapphic romance, I really recommend her work. As the title would imply, it is a fake dating trope book between these two girls in high school. And I mean, I think that's really all you need to know about the premise. Like, it's a pretty simple premise. They make a little Google Doc that they can both access so that they can keep all their lies straight, and it's called Honey and Ishu's Guide to Fake Dating. So that's where the title comes from. And it talks a lot about just like the experience of being Bengali in Ireland, in a primarily white country, and dealing with like microaggressions from friends. And that was very good. I liked it. I also read Cersei by Madeline Miller. I've been meaning to read this for a long time, but I've kind of heard, I don't know, I've kind of heard mixed things about it. I've heard people be like, this is the best book you will ever read in your life. And I've heard people say, and I think that I'm kind of on the category. Like, it was good. It was very good. But was it life-changing? No. I really liked Madeline Miller's Song of Achilles, so I was excited for this one. It is a retelling of the Cersei myth. If you're not familiar, Cersei is a Titan goddess, and she is exiled to a little island where she becomes a sorceress and turns men into pigs. Yeah, and so that's very fun. I did like this book. I liked this book a lot. I thought the writing was good. Madeline Miller is a good writer, period. I did think it was a little bit overhyped. Like, it wasn't, as much as I did like it, it wasn't as good as what I had heard people say about it. So that was a little bit disappointing for me because I was expecting it to be just groundbreaking and incredible. And it was good, but I guess maybe it is a matter of personal taste. Like, I'm willing to admit that it is probably my fault that I didn't like this book as much as I wanted to, because I just don't think it was really to my personal taste, which is like fine, it's valid. But I just like personally, it wasn't my favorite story, but the writing was good, the characters were good. I just wasn't like that into it. I don't know. It's just the myth that she chose to retell I wasn't super into. Like, I was really into the Song of Achilles because I liked the story, and I wasn't into Cersei because I just wasn't as attached to the story, I feel. I have one, I guess not issue with it, but one thing that I didn't love about this story, I just really don't enjoy the like, I guess it's kind of a trope by now, but this trope of women getting sexually abused or R-worded in order to make them stronger. You know, it's treated as like kind of a plot beat or like a plot device in order to make the women go through some kind of change to make them stronger. And I just don't think that's ever necessary. And I know that it might be in the original myth, like it might be historically accurate or accurate to the original myth that this happened to Cersei, but the truth of the matter is that I don't fucking care because I don't like reading those scenes anyway. And look, it was a bad trope in ancient Greece and it's a bad trope now. So the fact that, like, oh, it happened then, to me, that doesn't really justify using this trope in the 21st century. The fact that she is assaulted is used as the justification or the reason that she starts turning men into pigs. And I just don't think that's necessary. If I was a Titan goddess with magic, I would fuck with people for fun, okay? And does that make me a bad person? No, because if I was a Titan goddess, I wouldn't be a person. Like, is it inhumane for her to turn people into pigs? Yeah, but she's not human. She doesn't have humanity because she isn't human. So if she were to just turn sailors into pigs because she thought it was funny, I would be laughing right with her. I don't need her to do it because of some, like, vengeance thing. I never really understood her turning men into pigs as like a feminist thing. Like, she's such a girl boss for turning men into pigs because men are pigs. I kind of just saw it as a insanely powerful goddess not giving a fuck about humans, which is, I feel like, also like accurate, right? That's how the gods are. They don't care about humans. They don't understand the value of human life because they aren't human. They can't experience human life or the shortness of it. They have no concept of what it's like to be a little man and get turned into a pig. Like, they don't know how ruining that would be to a person. So, like, why should they care? If you've been alive for thousands of years, you're not gonna care about turning a guy into a pig. Like, I hate to say, I know this makes me sound like such a bad person, but again, like, she literally isn't a person. So if she's acting inhumane, it's because she's not human. It's because she literally does not have any humanity. She isn't human. So I don't need her turning men into pigs to be feminist. If she's just a gal, a girl boss living on her little island, turning men into pigs because it's funny when they run around and squeal, yeah, I get it. I'm with you, girly. I don't need men are pigs to be anything but literal in this case. Like, yes, you have turned the men into a pig. Now men are pigs. I don't see the need to include a scene in which she is sexually assaulted in order to make her a bad bitch. And you're free to interpret that differently. It's just, that's kind of the vibe that I was getting, and I don't like that. But yeah, overall the book was good. I kind of went on about that for a long time, but honestly, it didn't bother me that much. I'm just ranting. But also, I do want to say, there are also sexual abuse elements in the Song of Achilles, and I didn't think about that until after I was like typing up my little notes for this video. I was like, oh, I don't like the sexual abuse. There's sexual abuse in the Song of Achilles too. The Song of Achilles, it isn't on screen and it isn't violent, but it is definitely still like R word. And that, I remember that threw me off whenever I was reading it, because it was like, I just didn't expect that. Because like with the Song of Achilles, it's a love story between Achilles and Patroclus, but Achilles has a child from a woman, so obviously he can't just have sex with a woman because he wants to, because that would somehow undermine his relationship with Patroclus. So it had to be an R-word situation. And I just don't really, I don't love that about Madeline Miller's work. And that's why I'm a little skeptical about her new Persephone book. She recently announced that she's gonna do a Persephone retelling, and I keep seeing people being like, I'm so excited for her Hades and Persephone book. I'm like, girlies, that Google Doc was titled Persephone, not Hades and Persephone. And I do not think it's gonna be a romance. So I just need you guys to prepare for that possibility. I do not think that book is gonna be a romance. Certainly not a cute romance. I also read Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and I really liked Ariadne. I liked the plot a lot better than I liked the plot of Cersei. So that might be, you know, doing my opinion here. I might like the plot of that book a lot better. The writing was good. It was very fun. I really liked the characters. The entire time I was reading Ariadne, I had her confused with Arachne, the girly who gets turned into a giant spider monster. So the whole time I was reading it, I was like, oh, it's gonna be so crazy whenever she turns into a giant spider monster. You can imagine my surprise when that didn't happen. I thought that Ariadne did a really good job of showing the way that women are treated during this time period, while also giving Ariadne agency and letting her express herself. She never feels super like I thought that the character of Ariadne and the character of her sister, who is also a major character in the book, were very well written. They were very well developed, and I just overall I really liked the book. It was very good. I actually have another book by Jennifer Saint on my TBR. So yeah, I really like this book. I also read Furyborn and Kingsbane, which are the first two books in that trilogy, and Furyborn I talked about in one of my vlogs. I really liked it, but I didn't like, okay, wait, I should tell you what it's about. So it's about these two women, and it cuts between them, and they're separated by 1,000 years. So Riel is our girly from the past, and Eliana is our girly from the present. It's still like a fantasy past setting, so, but she's in the story's present. There is a prophecy that says two queens will come into the world. One of them will destroy the world, and the other one will save it. So when Riel starts to show signs that she is able to use her magic over all of the elements instead of just one element like everybody else, they're like, oh, she's the Sun Queen, that means she's gonna save the world. Does not seem to be the case after a little while. And Eliana in the present just kind of is running around. She is an assassin. I really don't know what her job description is. She's just like, I guess like a hitman, or kind of like a guy that you would call if you need something done. So like if you want to steal something, if you want to get information, if you want to kill somebody, Eliana's your girl. I didn't really like Eliana in the first book because I just found her a little boring, And she also kept fucking losing every fight that she was in. So Eliana is called the Dread of Orlean, Orlean being wherever she lives. I felt like she was very typical YA girl fantasy main character. She's not like other girls. She kills people. And that just kind of annoyed me because I was like, girl, if you're gonna call yourself the Dread of Orlean, can you kill somebody? Can you win a fight once? She would lose like badly. She would be like down for the count. But she still went around threatening people, and that bothered me. She'd be like, shut up or I'll kill you. No, you won't. You've lost every fight you've been in. I'm not afraid of you. Look at me, okay? I am not very strong. I still feel like I could have taken her. Anyway. So Furyborn, the first book, I really liked it. I especially like Riel. I like her plotline a lot better than Eliana's. And I like her character a lot better than Eliana's. But you know, we got through it. Kingsbane was a bit of a struggle. The book really started dragging in the middle. My camera died, so we are banished to the webcam. Anyway, Furyborn really I actually have it right here. No, wait, that's not what it's called. Kingsbane really started dragging in the middle. It just felt like not much was happening, and I was getting annoyed. There were too many Eliana chapters, and I'm just like not really into her. Like, I don't know what it is about her, but she just doesn't do it for me. Even though arguably Riel is more OP than Eliana, I feel like Eliana doesn't earn her power the same way that Riel does. So it's kind of annoying to read about her just being super powerful and not like it's very like show don't tell. Like, we're told so many times that Eliana is this badass, that she's super powerful, but we never get to see it. Like, we never get to make that decision for ourselves. So it's just kind of thrown on us that she's super badass and powerful, but she fucking sucks at fighting, and like we never really get to see her use her powers. Riel was also starting to lose me about like halfway through the book, and then she did some fucked up shit, and I was back on her team. Also, there's this guy. Oh, this is actually gonna make me cringe. Like, I don't know if I can talk about this. The guy that Eliana is with at the moment. Well, not with, but like one of the guys in Eliana's story is named Simon, and he also used to be an assassin bitch like Eliana, and his name was the Wolf. So I literally can't talk about this. I'm getting like secondhand embarrassment. So sometimes in the book, whenever Simon is mean, the narration, Eliana's narration will be like, he's more the wolf now than he is Simon. Like, he's acting like the wolf. Be like, his voice wasn't Simon's, it was the wolf's. And it's like, it like really is so cringy. I can barely talk about it. Like, girl, it's disgusting. Also, like, Simon gets introduced as the wolf, and then immediately after that, they like never call him that again. So I guess the author realized that they needed to add that into the series again, because like we completely dropped his little code name. But there are better ways to do it, Claire. But Claire, there are better ways to do it. That was literally gross. And I listened to it on audiobook for half the time. That's right, I have the physical book, and I still like went to my libraries. I went on my Libby app and I got the audiobook, and it was 22 hours long. If that tells you how fucking long this book is. Just because I like could not do it. And I'm glad, because I don't know if I could have read the words, I don't know if I could have read those sections with my own two eyes. See, but the thing about audiobooks is that they read so slow. I was watching this booktube video the other day, and the girl was like, I do speed up my audiobooks to 1.25. I was like, I had this bitch talking at 2 times speed and I was still annoyed at how slow it was. I don't know. I like audiobooks because I don't have to do the legwork, but also they read too slow. You know, it's like I could read this and it would go faster, but I would have to actually put in the work. So that's my dilemma about audiobooks. I don't know if anyone relates to that. Um yeah. Oh, there's also this isn't really a spoiler. Fuck, I cannot. There's also this major plot point in, I would say probably like exactly halfway through this book. Eliana and Simon make this plan that is clearly not gonna work. Like, just flat out is absolutely not going to work based on everything they know and everything we know as the audience. In no reality would this plan go well. And so they make the plan, they execute the plan, and it doesn't fucking work. And it's like, why did I just sit here for like 50 pages of Eliana's narration? Because the chapters are pretty short, and they go, every chapter it switches between Eliana and Riel. So like the plot lines are kind of dragged out, which maybe is why, maybe that's what I'm picking up on, is like why it was so slow in the middle is because the plot lines are so spread out. So they make the plan, they execute the plan, it goes fucking terribly, and it's like I could have told you that 50 pages ago. Why did you even try this? If you knew with literally 100% certainty, not gonna work. I thought it was a joke. Are you kidding? Absolutely, like no way in hell is their stupid little plan gonna work. It doesn't work, and then it doesn't come up again the rest of the book. And I'm assuming that it does come up in the third book, because there is another book after this one. I'm assuming it becomes relevant in that book, but like for the rest of this book, we just don't hear about their stupid little plan that went horribly. It's like, it felt significant because it took up so much fucking space in the book, but I guess not. Oh, this review on the back says scary, sexy, and intense. I would agree that it is sexy. They have a lot of sex in this book. There's a lot of sex scenes in this book. And even more than that, there's also masturbation scenes. So like we're going crazy in this book. And I also think it's kind of funny because they will pair up sex scenes. So like Riel will be getting it on, and then I'm like, oh fuck, like now I'm gonna have to listen to Eliana have sex on the next chapter. Because they like pair it up somehow. So like both the characters are having sex together in the narrative. And it's just, it's really weird. I think I actually skipped through most of Eliana's sex scenes just because I was not interested in her being happy. That's a joke. I don't hate Eliana. Riel, my girl, I feel like they're just written better for, like, I don't know. Eliana's sex scenes, I was like, this is gross. But, like, Riel's were fine. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, did I read any other books? I don't think so. So I'll tell you about the books that I'm going to read. I'll tell you about my TBR.